Hello everybody. Today we are going to be learning to count money. By the end of the lesson, you will be able to count 10-cent pieces by using your knowledge of counting in tens. Now let's have a little think back to what we already know. We need to have a little think. Why do you need to be able to count money? And what do you already know about money? Well, you need to be able to count money so that when you're a grown-up, you'll be able to buy things when you go to the shop and you'll know how much money to give to the shopkeeper. Now, what do you already know about money? Last week, you were learning about money with Mrs. Thompson. She showed you the different types of money coins that we use when we buy things at the shop. We know that this is a 5-cent. This one is a 10-cent. This one is 20 cents, 50 cents, $1, $2. Today we're going to be using the 10-cent piece. Now last week, if you watched my lesson, we learnt how to count in tens. We also practiced counting groups of 10 or collections of 10. Now we're going to connect that knowledge to what we're learning about today with money. We're going to connect using our knowledge of counting in tens to count the 10-cent pieces. So before we start, we're going to count together in tens. You can count with me. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Today we are learning to count 10-cent pieces. This is important because it will help you when you need to count money. And we use money every day, especially when you're an adult. What I'm looking for today is that you can count money amounts of 10-cent pieces using your knowledge of counting in tens. You will know if you're successful today if you can identify the 10-cent pieces, count the 10-cent pieces by counting in tens, or count how many 10-cent pieces are there, and write the money amount using numbers and the cent symbol, which we write with a C. Those are your 3 things you need to do to be successful. We call them our steps to success. If you can do all of those things by the end of the lesson, then you will be successful. Now, I'm going to demonstrate to you how to count 10-cent pieces by using counting in tens. Now you can see up in the corner it says I do. That means I'm going to do the first one for you. Listen carefully. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 50 cents. And we write the number 50 with a 5 and a 0, and then we write C for cents. Now I'm going to show you how to do one more. Then we'll do one together. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. That's 80 cents. We write the number 80 and C for cents. Now we're going to do one together. So I want you to count the 10-cent pieces with me by using counting in tens. 10, 20, 30, 40. How much money have we got? That's right, it's 40 cents. We wrote a 4 and a 0 and the letter C for cent. That's really important so that we know that it's not dollars, it's cents. Now, up in the corner, you can see it says you do. That means it's your turn to do an activity at home. Now, this activity sheet that you printed out at home, you're going to need scissors and glue to do this activity and a writing pencil. Now, if you don't have this activity sheet at home, or if you couldn't print it out, then you can write the numbers in your scrapbook and have a go at drawing the 10-cent pieces. You might draw a circle with the number 10 inside it. You don't need to try and draw the animal. But if you have the sheet already printed out, then you need to cut out the numbers and glue them in your scrapbook in the order of counting in tens. Then beside each number, you need to cut out and glue how many 10-cent pieces you would need to make that money. Now I'll give you a little clue. If you look at the first number, it will tell you how many 10-cent pieces you're going to need. So if you're doing number 50, the first number is a 5. So you're going to need to cut out 5 of the 10-cent pieces. If you're doing the number 20, it starts with a 2, so you'll only need 2 of the 10-cent pieces. When you're finished cutting and gluing the 10-cent pieces, I want you to make sure that you go back and count in tens for each number to make sure that it matches. Then beside it, I want you to write the money amount. That means, remember, you've got to write the number and you've got to write the letter C for cents. Good luck. Now let's reflect and review what we learnt today. Now you need to remember that when you count 10-cent pieces, you need to use counting in tens. And when you write the money amounts, you have to use the cent symbols. A C for cents. Think back. Have a reflect and a review. What did you learn today? You learned how to count money amounts with 10-cent pieces using your knowledge of counting in tens. But how do you know if you were successful? Think back to the earlier in the video when we saw our steps for success. Can you identify the 10-cent pieces? Can you count in tens to count how many 10-cent pieces are there? And can you write the money amount using the number and C for cents? And lastly, think about why was the learning goal important? Why did we learn this? This is, remember, so that when you are an adult and you have to use money, when you go to the shop and buy something, you'll be able to count the money out and give it to the shopkeeper. Now, here's a little challenge activity or a little extension activity for some people if you would like to have a try at this with me. We're going to do something a little bit trickier. Now, use your knowledge of counting in tens and count with me. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. We've used our knowledge of counting in tens and we counted all the way to 100. That means we have 100 cents. I wonder if anybody at home knows how much money you have when you've got 100 cents. Have a little think. There are 10-cent pieces on the screen. That is 100 cents. What's that the same as? $1. Well done. If I have 10-cent pieces, I have $1. They're worth the same. So if you went to the shop and you had to buy something that cost $1, instead of using 10-cent pieces, you could probably just use your $1. That would be much easier. Now, the last thing for today is a fun activity. If you were able to print this one out at home, then you can complete the money tree. I would love it if you did this one because it's always lots of fun. You have to colour the coins using special colours. All the 5-cent coins are going to be blue. The 10-cent coins are going to be red. The 20-cent coins need to be green. The 50-cent coins need to be yellow. Then you're going to colour the $1 coins orange and the $2 coins brown. After you've coloured them all in, you need to cut them out around the dotted line and glue them onto your money tree. But be really careful because when you glue them onto the money tree, they need to go in special spots. You need to put the coin that's worth the most at the top of the money tree. Does anyone know which coin is worth the most? I do. It's the $2 coin. It needs to go at the top of the money tree. Then the rest of the coins need to go in order. The coin that is worth the most goes at the top, and the coin that's worth the least will go down the bottom. You can use the circle's size and shape to give you a clue. If there is a small circle, then it needs to be for a small coin, like 5 cents. If it's a big bumpy circle, then it's going to be for the 50 cents. Then when you're finished, you can colour your tree in and even colour the little pig down the bottom to make it look nice. Now I hope everyone enjoyed today's lesson and I hope I'll see you really soon. Goodbye.